Weather, air, and water. Weather. Weather is defined as the condition of air surrounding us with respect to temperature, wind, and rain. Weather keeps changing from hour to hour and day to day. The changes in weather are due to the sun. How? The heat of the sun causes winds to blow. It is also responsible for the motion of clouds. When the sun shines brightly, its rays fall directly on earth, which makes the day hot. But in the morning and the evening time, the rays are slanting. The morning and the evening are less hot than the noon time. The earth tilts from its axis while revolving around the sun in a fixed orbit. It causes changes in weather. The part of the earth close to the sun has longer and warmer days. The part of the earth away from the sun has shorter and colder days. Air. Air is a mixture of gases. The most common gases are nitrogen, about 78%, and oxygen, about 21%, and other gases. Air also contains dust, smoke, and water vapors. Our earth is surrounded by a layer of air called atmosphere. Air is important for all living beings on earth. Human beings need oxygen from air to breathe. Plants need carbon dioxide from air for photosynthesis. Animals too need oxygen to survive. What causes the winds to blow? Wind is produced by the uneven heating of the Earth's surface by the sun. As the sun warms the Earth's surface, the air warms up too. Warm air weighs less than cold air and rises upward. The cool air moves in and replaces the rising warm air. This movement of air causes the winds to blow. Sea breeze and land breeze. During the day, the sun heats the land surface, but air above it heats up first and rises. To replace the rising air, cooler air is drawn in from above the surface of the sea. This is called sea breeze. During the night, the land cools faster than the sea. The air above the sea gets heated and rises up. This pulls the cool air from the land surface towards the sea. This is called land breeze. Water. About 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Water is found all around on Earth in ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, seas, oceans, and wells. Water is also found in the air in form of tiny droplets called water vapors. Water exists in three forms: solid, liquid, and gas. These forms are interchangeable. When ice is left in open area, it melts to form water. When water is heated, water vapor rises. Solid form of water, that is ice, changes into liquid form of water, and water changes into gas form, that is water vapor. Evaporation. Evaporation is the process in which water changes from liquid form to its vapor form. The rate of evaporation depends on temperature. Higher the temperature, faster is the evaporation. Wind. The stronger the wind, more will be evaporation. Humidity. Lesser the humidity, more will be the evaporation. Condensation. Condensation is the process in which water changes from vapor form to its liquid form. Freezing. Freezing is the process in which water changes from liquid form to its solid form. Water cycle. The heat of the sun evaporates the water from ponds, lakes, rivers, and seas. This water rises up and changes into water vapors. These water vapors reach the upper parts of the atmosphere, where it condenses to form small drops of water. These small drops of water combine together to form clouds. The water drops in the clouds condense further to form bigger drops. These drops become heavier and fall on earth in the form of rain. This is called precipitation. The cycle of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation continues in nature and is called the water cycle. The precipitation has different forms like rain, hail, dew, frost, fog, and snow. When raindrops pass through cold air, these drops freeze and turn into ice. These ice pellets is called hail. On winter's night, water vapors condense into small drops over the leaves and flowers of plants, grasses, and window pane. These drops are called dew. When nights become extremely cold, the dew freezes to form white crystals. These ice crystals are called frost. When warm and wet air cools down to form a cloud of tiny water drops in the air above the land or water, this cloud is called fog. When it is very cold, mostly on hilly areas, water vapor freezes and falls down in the form of snowflakes. This is called snow. Impurities in water. Rainwater fills the ponds, lakes, rivers, seas, etc. When it flows, it carries dust, germs, waste products, and other impurities with it. This water is also supplied to our homes, which can lead to many waterborne diseases like cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and diarrhea. There are two types of impurities, soluble and insoluble. Soluble impurities cannot be seen like bacteria and germs. Insoluble impurities can be seen like mud and stones. Purification of water. There are different ways in which water can be purified to make it potable. Boiling. The best way of purifying water to remove bacteria and germs is boiling. We should boil water for about 15 to 20 minutes. Chlorination. To make water pure for drinking, chlorine tablets are added or chlorine gases pass through water. This process is called chlorination. Sedimentation and decantation. When water is allowed to stand in a container for few hours, the insoluble impurities will settle down at the bottom of the container. This process is called sedimentation. The clear water is now poured into another container without disturbing the settled impurities. This process is called decantation. Filtration. In this process, the water is purified using a filter paper. Water is allowed to pass through the filter paper. The impurities are left behind on the paper and pure water is poured down in the container.